Very good evening, all of you. Those who are in India and the other part of the globe, I convey my wishes for a very fabulous day. I am Dr. J.L.N. Shastri. I am currently working as a CEO, National Medicine Plants Board, Government of India, and I am stationed at Delhi. And this is a great occasion for me to interact with all of you, to just share my thoughts and views related to the COVID-19 crisis. Basically, I would like to give some more introduction about me. I am belonging to a traditional Ayurveda family, and then I worked for Government of India and State Government of Andhra Pradesh for about roughly 12 years, and then I moved on to clinical research and stayed there for about 5 years, and then I was into my practice, and last 8 years I was heading the healthcare research for Dabur India Limited, and through an lateral entry in the month of January I joined National Medicine Plants Board, and I am the member secretary for the interdisciplinary task force on the Ayush related studies related to COVID-19. Friends, I would like to say one thing here. The COVID-19 is going to be there in the history as a, and it divides history rather as a pre and post COVID arena or era, I would like to say. And it has given an opportunity for the alternative systems or the traditional systems to look at the opportunities while clearly demarcating the what you call limitations in the present evidence-based medicine. I am not a fanatic for any system of medicine. I am a scientist. I would like to just put forward some opportunities from this country, which has given a lot of encouragement whenever there were endemics and pandemics. Look at cholera, look at plague, look at Spanish flu. The Waids and Hakims of this country have contributed. So we as Indians, now for the first time in the last 1.5 months, I realized, working with about 70, 80 kind of top scientists belonging to both modern medicine, Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, and people from microbiology, even chemistry. They're all coming together, epidemiology, whatnot. They've come together to find a solution for this crisis. Okay, then what are the possible what you call recipes, remedies, alternatives, and blah blah. We all know there is no treatment, whatever system it may be. We have to accept, and I am accepting from traditional medicine. But whenever there is a crisis, the alternative systems have a simple approach of looking at the immunity. And again, I don't want to use this word immunity very vaguely, very consciously. I would like to use this because Ayurveda is a system of medicine which always believed the incidence of any pathological condition is related to the host immunity. And Charak Samhita clearly mentions about its importance. It clearly mentioned Vyadhi Bala and the Rogi Bala. These two different entities. One is your host immunity, the other one is the causative organism and related aspects. So if you clearly understand the philosophy, you can take care of the host immunity and you can act against the causative factors. In this case, as we all know, your SARS-CoV-2, where you can clearly look at antiviral activity. I definitely know working on antiviral activity is not that easy. Okay, now we have created some protocols with the help of the CSR, DBT, and ICMR collaborations. And my team has developed the protocols for even the preclinical studies. We have shortlisted some low-hanging fruits like ashwagandha is one such kind of what you call plant which is known for its immunity boosting activity. A lot of papers, NIH, if you review now, on NIH itself, website itself, you find 10 studies on ashwagandha, out of which 6 are complete, 2 are on immunomodulation. And if you look at British Pharmacopoeia, you find the reference of Tinospora cardifolia. And Tinospora cardifolia in Indian traditional medicine is a known recipe for the immune boosting. The third one is your mullety or licorice, Glycyrrhiza glabra, which is well known in all pharmacopoeia, well known in Indian systems of medicine, and it is clinically tried in China, and it's published in peer-reviewed journals in SARS-CoV-2 infections. And they started their journey on Glycyrrhiza in 2003 when they had SARS. And between 2014 and 19, there are a lot of publications. So what we were doing in India, when we reviewed the ancient literature, we found these solutions. And these are the solutions which have been tried in other countries also when the problem of SARS-CoV-2 began. And then the final phase, what we should do is scientifically establish the role properly. So therefore, a team of scientists have come together. The protocols for clinical trials have been developed with the help of ICMR and the other scientists from the Department of Ayush. Okay. And we are also looking at the population-based studies where huge data can be generated. Look at one thing, and the data is apparent. If you look at the data available on WHO website and other websites which are scientifically following the COVID infection, they suggest the Europe and US, and after that the Middle East, have the highest incidence. Whether you look at the population versus incidence, which may be unfair as on date because we have not done large population-based studies, but still, when I converted about 12 lakhs to 15 lakhs, that is 1.2 to 1.5 tests in any country, India stands fourth and fifth, because Russia recently started doing a lot of studies. So we are among the top 5 countries when it comes to the number of tests. At 12 lakh tests, when we compare us with any other country, when we have just touched at 12 lakhs, India was documenting about 48,000 subjects, patients of positive COVID patients. And that shows we are much below, 50% below any other country. The lowest being comparison being 78,000, the highest comparison being 1.95 lakhs. So we are falling much below these top 6 countries when we compare the number of tests versus the number of positive patients. So there is something which is happening. Okay, that is something what we started looking at. So that must be your humoral immunity, innate immunity, herd immunity. I can't say anything right now. So, okay, we have to find what it is, but it's a low-hanging fruit. The probable solution for the existing problem to bring down. I'm not looking at cure right now, and I'm not going to use such big words. If I can, my ambition is very simple as a human being, not as a traditional medicine practitioner, and not as a scientist. What we should do as a human being, if the percentage of people in India today, 4 to 4.5 patients per 100 tests are found to be positive. If I bring down 1%, through my endeavor of giving immunoboosting and so on and so forth, the load on the critical care is going to be down. Please remember, a country like Germany, which has about 5 ventilators per 100 patients, could reduce the mortality. This is one just interesting observation I have. Many other countries, as per the stats available on different websites, I found that there are 3. In India, we don't have such kind of ventilators, and probably I am reducing the burden on the existing healthcare system or critical healthcare system. So that's the greatest help I'll be doing to this nation by reducing the number of serious patients. So therefore, maybe the mortality rate will also come down, and that's exactly what I'm looking at to start with. And through the add-on therapy, suppose if you look at Muleti in Indian medicine has a lot of benefits. Okay, rather it can be called as panacea in Ayurveda. So it is known as rasayan or your immunomodulator. It is used for fevers, it is used for respiratory problems, it was used for anti-aging effects, and it was used for many other conditions. And look at the available published literature, peer-reviewed publications. It is having antiviral property, and probably one of the herbs which can be strongly recommended with the evidence available from Chinese and Singapore studies and some studies from Philippines. They suggest that they have strong leads on the anti-CoV-2 activity, and we are taking it further. We have entered into an MOU with entering into a kind of understanding with DBT, where maybe institutes like TISTI, which are going to have the in vivo models. In vitro plenty are available, but we are looking at in vivo models, and according to the available information, TISTI must be getting this in place for our scientists in the next 10 to 15 days time. That will be great news. And you can evaluate some of the other herbs also. And then apart from the antiviral activity, it will be having a property to address the cytokine storm, which is being abundantly discussed in several publications. Though there is a new emerging concept on this, but still, when we look at it, your Glyceriaza glabra, which has the steroidogenic property without having sterile components, may be one good solution in addressing the existing crisis. Okay, so that's the kind of approach what we have, and most importantly, we are entering into our cities also. Okay, a lot of modern doctors are also getting associated with our activity right now, and we have pre and post prophylactic study approach. That means after your 7 week of prophylaxis with HCQ in India, what is happening? So that is something which you can see. And add on again, we can have HCQ in one group and HCQ plus your Ayurvedic interventions or Ayush interventions in another group. That will be another very good scientific study. And population based studies are already on, and you'll be happy to note one such trial is happening in one hospital, Medanta in Gurgaon. That's the first trial. It's a 90 subject trial, again control study as add-on therapy, and a lot of states have also come forward to take up the protocols. Through the interdisciplinary, the Ayush task force, we have already provided the physician guidelines and public health guidelines, and then we have given the generic protocol guidelines. We have given generic CRF for the prophylaxis, and we have given the guidelines for the add-on therapy to prepare the protocols. We have also created a standalone protocol guidelines, and whole system protocol guidelines are also in place. The going forward step by step, we can definitely look into all these things. But my sincere submission before I conclude, this is a great opportunity. For the first time in my 33 years of experience, I have seen scientists without frontiers, scientists from modern medicine, scientists from Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, homeopathy, scientists from microbiology, scientists from biotechnology, all are coming together for a cause. Friends, let us realize these Indian systems of medicines like Ayush, Ayurveda, homeopathy, they are nobody's property. It's the property of all of us. Whether you belong to modern stream of medicine or yoga, Siddha, you are an Indian to start with. Please realize, and this is a great opportunity. you can contribute, you can have your mark on the world healthcare scenario, which is something like yoga. What yoga did for India, and through COVID and its management to the extent possible, India will be in limelight. That's the single point agenda we should have. Let us remove the barriers, whatever system we belong to. If we are not a human being, if there is 10% benefit out of the recipes which we are using, and let us extract it, because we have no clear solution and we do not know how long it is going to happen. We have theories. When R naught value is not being finalized by WHO, a lot of papers I am going through. For any epidemiologist, you need R naught to be established 1.5 to 3.5. Okay, they don't conclude, so we don't know what is going to happen. So our simple and serious endeavor is look at alternatives, use the philosophy. In Ayurveda there is a philosophy. Take the example of malaria. When malaria was there, today last 50 years the National Malaria Research Institute in US, they could not contribute anything. Same Malaria Research Institute in India, they could not come out with any solution. But we have two herbal molecules or compounds which have helped to combat malaria. Remember, one is your cinchona bark extract, which is a chloroquine. The other one is again Artemisia, for which 2 years back Nobel Prize was given. My point, it may happen if we properly study. It repeats in COVID also. Let us look at this. Okay, Ayurveda said the animal toxins are to be treated with herbal toxins. Maybe just give a serious thought to this. Now, since you have no option, the hypothesis can tomorrow be proved as a thesis. When Chinese could get a Nobel, why don't you? And of course, I am nobody to speak much high about it. I am not interested. I am interested only saving lives. So if this simple philosophy works, probably for this coronavirus also, your nCoV2 or SARS-CoV-2, probably some herbal entities, whether they are fractions, extracts, or whatever it may be, probably this will give the solution. WHO is not supporting HCQ, and India, we could not even start a RCT with HCQ. Blindly we are using. WHO wants, if you click the WHO on the Mythbusters, just if you click, it clearly shows not to use hydroxychloroquine, but we are using. The present study, which is documented with CTRI, is simply observational study. Okay, for 480 subjects, observational study. So we don't have guts to get into an RCT. Instead of saying guts, as a scientist, I cannot say that. I want to say only one thing. We are empirically trying. Even the ICMR, the advisory dated 22nd March says is empirical usage. When you are using so many empirical things, let us believe the empiricism prevailing, so-called empiricism prevailing in the traditional medicine may also be proved as a scientific evidence, properly documented, if we do this kind of investigations what we have started. With this, I want to just say thanks to all of you for giving a patient hearing to me. I am there to help you with answering your queries and questions, and thank you once again.